Hey everybody, News Now Norfolk back out here. Virginia Beach holding a Second Amendment hearing tonight, so we're gonna take a peek at it and show our support for our Second Amendment. I am carrying today. I'm carrying my XD9 with 2 spare magazines. We will be staying off of the courthouse property. We'll be staying on private property, or on public property, excuse me. So check it out. We're going to go ahead and head that way. Do you guys want me to introduce you guys? So I'm here today with Tiffany Taylor. Tiffany in there. And Tony, military friend. We're getting the kids out and then we're going to head that way. A little nippy out today. What's going on, Flow Rider? How you doing, man? I haven't talked to you in a while. Just an update on why I haven't been streaming recently. My last arrest did result in a conviction. I did quite a bit of research and found out that you can, in fact, be trespassed from public property, especially buildings. If you're out in public, it's very, very hard to be trespassed. If you're in public, or if you're in a public building like a courthouse, it's actually quite easy. So I got just a 2-year, basically don't do it again or we'll put you in jail. So that's why I haven't been filming. Out here tonight we're doing the rally. It's time we're going to get back into it. And on January 20th is the rally in Richmond, Virginia. It is a lobby day where everybody's coming to support Second Amendment and to lobby for our rights to be held. But we're just getting set up with strollers and then we're heading that direction. Poor little fella. He's got a nice cozy little cave. We are meeting at the Virginia Beach courthouse. That's where they're doing the hearing. And it is a hearing tonight, right? So they're doing a hearing and they're voting tonight. So we're just here in support. Who asked that? Let's see. So yeah, this is the second hearing that we've had. They still haven't come to a decision, but we're hoping that'll happen tonight. Poor girl. Oh, it is a little chilly. Most adorable little child. What is it, maybe quarter mile? Tenth of a mile?
No, it's like on the other corner. Justin, there's a reason why I made sure to park north.
Yeah, I almost parked on the main street over there just because I didn't want to park in their parking lot, you know?
We're on the street.
Yeah. Yep. Now I don't know what their footage on easement is here, because like right here is a public easement. You can see the street lights and everything, but I don't know what the exact measurement is here in Virginia Beach. Most of the time it's a certain amount of footage away from the center lane of the road. I think it's supposed to drop to about 34 tonight, something like that. I don't know what time it'll be. Audio's a little muffled. Can you hear me now? Hey guys, how's the audio? Is it sounding okay? Okay. I was a little far away. I've got this new stick I've been using. Why does it look fuzzy? It's dark here because we're out in the back parking lot, but it's gonna get a little brighter once we get near the lights. But we're all the way in Virginia, so it is dark here right now. Here, I'm gonna fix my phone a little bit, see if that's better. Can you guys hear me a little better now? Why is the video so fuzzy? Should be. I'm gonna wipe it off.
It is also an iPhone.
Well, that's a little better, maybe.
I had a little handheld one, kind of like with what Justin has. But where it goes up to the post, that's sort of GoPro mount.
When we move back to Texas, we're gonna do more auditing, but here in Virginia, we're gonna hold off. We're not gonna be here that much longer, so. Yeah, until I've got 2 years on my from July 16th, I think, of 18.
Yeah, that's totally what going to, but that's all the cut was turning left.
Is that building over there?
Yeah.
Got some jets flying above us, close to Oceana Military Base, America.
Snap your ankle.
Yeah. Keep my hands in my pockets. Warm them up a little bit. Should have brought one of them hand warmers. We bought them like 2 years ago. I've still got a whole thing of them in there. I never do pull them out.
I don't use mine constantly.
Yeah. You ain't got a choice out there.
I was probably using on the bike while, putting them on the back of my hands while riding. I was like, that makes no sense. Because how am I going to shake in the air?
Yeah.
Hey, somebody else with a little kiddo.
Yeah, last time they're like,
We,
Justin's right there, sweetie.
almost there. Yeah. I'm a little surprised at the turnout. There's quite a few people here. I mean, the parking lots were just stuffed.
I'll let you know if it's even more than last time or not.
Oh yeah, y'all came to the last one.
Yeah, I was outside.
I was under the weather, so I didn't end up coming.
Oh,
Yeah. Did you get the tire fixed? Y'all just gonna have to replace it? I mean, well, do you know what round went through the tire? 9mm? That's crazy. The odds of you being there when the shooting started is crazy.
But if I ever happen to fall victim to a gun crime, don't use my death as a reason for some people. Don't ever.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Hopefully they quit flying over here. No, they fly all night long. Welcome to Virginia Beach. Are y'all concealing? Yeah, that's why I asked before we got there.
Oh, this is a lot better than last time.
Alright, I'm gonna lift y'all up so you can see a little better.
Headphone here.
Oh yeah, it is. Sure, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome, thank you, buddy.
A lot better than last time.
That applicant, if it's compacted, would make them how it started. We then have Governor Northam saying, we're looking actively across the state of fire. Okay? We then have Congressman McEachin saying that the governor should deploy the National Guard if the local police don't enforce the law. The rhetoric from the left is amplifying and amplifying and amplifying. That is the reason that the counties across the state, the cities across the state have stood up and said, hey, we're a constitutional city, we're a sanctuary city, whatever you want to call it. It is about a check to the state elected officials that the citizens are concerned with what is happening from our elected politicians. You have no authority to really do anything, right? There's not much you can do. But you can sign a resolution that already reinforces what Virginia Beach is, which is a constitutional city. I would like one of you to raise your hand and say Virginia Beach is not a constitutional city, because it is. We are under the laws of the United States. You have all sworn oaths to uphold and defend the Constitution. Voting yes to saying we are a constitutional city is not betraying anybody who may be for gun reform. It's just sending a message to the legislature that, hey, let's dial the rhetoric back a little bit, let's listen to the people, and let's try to find some reasonable solutions to common problems. And that's all this is. You can't say no to this. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Josh Charles, and I'm a lifelong resident of Virginia Beach, a retired Navy veteran, as well as a being a registered and active voter. First, thank you for calling this special session to ensure council could hear from the citizens about this issue while it is on the agenda, and in time to vote on the resolution so that the General Assembly can be made aware of Virginia Beach's position before the General Assembly assemblies on Wednesday. It is often said that decisions are made by those who show up. Well, you saw how many people were here on December 3rd. As somebody pointed out, not even the issue of a light rail brought so many citizens to your door. Or it has such vast difference between support and opposition. And while I personally would have preferred that the resolution before you tonight contained a statement denying the use of city resources to support unconstitutional laws, and as well as establishing that Virginia Beach is a Second Amendment sanctuary city, it does not. However, I am here to urge you to vote in favor of this resolution, a resolution that expresses continued support for all provisions of the United States of Virginia Constitution, expresses support for the rights of law-abiding citizens to keep and bear arms, and urges the General Assembly and Governor not to violate either the U.S. or Virginia Bill of Rights, declares the city a Second Amendment constitutional city, supports the actions of other localities who are making their positions known, and directs the city manager to forward this to the governor. That's it. That's all it does. Virginia Beach isn't saying we're going to ignore laws, create militias, deputize every law-abiding citizen. This resolution only says we're going to support our state and federal constitutions. So I personally believe that due to the language in this resolution, any and all neighbors would be seen as a violation of that respective council member's oath of office. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Mayor. Councilman, thank you for being here tonight. Unfortunate to be early. All of you have to sit and sit through all of us talking to you. So thank you for being here tonight. This morning, Councilman Power posted a message regarding his opposition to the proposal and expresses regret he couldn't be here tonight. His apology accepted, Councilman. I'm sorry, Councilman, my response to you in person as well. His concerns can be summarized as the following points. He raised the issue, are we supposed to read through thousands of bills? Fortunately, you don't. I'm sure all of you are well familiar with the people behind you and how much they support this. Don't worry, we'll, we'll ring the phones off your phone. You don't have to read a single bill. We'll got you covered now. His next concern is that this fails to strike a balance for gun safety and contempt for the rule of law. He's right here. This is not about balance for gun safety. The phrase shall not be infringed is not about balance. It's about the rights of the people. This one actually made me pretty upset. And when he said this, it was like, I'm going to have to try and not be pessimistic up here. How dare you, how dare you? He raised the concern about our prime financial state. When you talk about it like that, it makes it sound like it's a cut of meat. It's like your mouth watering. And it's like, oh, all the money. It's not the time to be talking about money. He wanted to lecture us about the insensitivity of this bill that is supposed we're discussing here. I think what's insensitive is talking about money as if it's a gigantic concern with this legislation. There's going to be a bunch of other cities around Virginia that are passing this. I don't think you have anything to fear about people not coming here because of what we passed tonight. Finally, he talked about a duty to provide the safety for the citizens of Virginia Beach, and that this resolution won't protect them, won't protect us or the visitors that come here. He's also right about that, but he's wrong to say that his duty is to provide for our safety. That's not something that the government can provide for us. My time's nearly up here. I'm not sure how to finish it. I want to make you want to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. I urge you to please vote for this. You cannot protect our individual safety, but you can protect our rights. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna step aside and get a quick vape real quick. Sorry guys, need a smoke break. I don't know if you guys can hear. I'm trying to get as close to the speakers as possible. The last guy was pretty quiet. I'd say there are easily 1,000, 1,500 people here today. Probably more. I can't really see because of how dark it is. Say what?
The video feed screwed up.
Freeze up?
Yep. Yeah, it was getting right to the good part. You know, what happened?
Do you guys mind being on camera? Can I ask y'all a couple questions on camera? Hi, I'm Justin, by the way. Frank. So why are you here supporting this today? And how do you feel about the laws that are bills that are being put in place, right, are being voted on? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the 91% of counties that have stood up and against 93%? It must have just updated last since I saw it. Yeah. How do you feel about them pushing, with just the 7% pushing to try to control the 93% that are opposed? How do you feel about that? Do you feel like your rights are being violated? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for your time.
However, the still got
It's live right now.
the symbol of the more glaring off-mark chapter that it was chosen on America to begin use to make that for the movement for organization. And Calhoun was a part of that organization and was out of town. And you see the show is the innovation to implies that movement itself. It was a part of the movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calhoun was a part of that movement. And the Calho
this movement opening fire on idolatry. It is only said as such because this ignores the most important part of the Second Amendment, to secure its free speech. Charlatans want no free speech, because they watch as they wish to form a militia to guard against gun grabs, not against drug laws, against gay marriage law, against locking immigrant kids in prison, against police brutality for minorities, against corruption of government. The Black Panthers fought to secure a free state. Citizens of Athens conceded in 1946 with government. The Galactic proposed sanctuary city status from other oppressive states into law that was sound, but definitely sound. And those who would rather fight with Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson than John Brown and that time. Freedom, justice, and brotherhood for all.
What do you think?
Mayor Dyer, members of the City Council, Mr. Stiles, Speaker 8 actually covered points that I was going to discuss this evening, so I'm not going to be redundant and go over that. I was fortunate enough on my drive here to watch your working session, and Barbara, maybe you and I need to get together. While you may have read the Constitution, I think you didn't actually understand the Constitution. As I've come before you so many times, you know, we the people, you have no authority other than to protect our rights. And you were saying, Barbara, that you were concerned about this resolution for a number of reasons about it, you know, not being constitutional and dividing us. It is the function of you as an elected representative to serve we the people, just as it is in Richmond and at the national level. You don't have a constitutional issue other than to support the Constitution, as others have said. Sabrina, I understand, you know, part of what you're concerned about. And I think all of you guys are just misunderstanding the role of government. It really is. I understand what you're trying to accomplish. I understand the need to deal with the problem with people shooting people. But first and foremost, as a country, everybody in government has to stand up for our constitutional rights. Or we don't have rights and liberties, as others told you. We've covered this ground before, and I'm just not going to be redundant. I appreciate that you are going to pass this resolution, and I thank you for that. Michelle and I went to several cities. It was interesting speaking to different city councils and all the things and how they handle things. And I've got some tips for you on how we could do better here in Virginia Beach based on other cities that we travel. Some good ideas. But lastly, something to consider for all of you. The problem you're facing is a systemic problem with the General Assembly. They should not be passing and signing into law unconstitutional law. And the problem we have at the General Assembly is there's no review of the constitutionality of these laws. They get enacted and signed into law on, July 1st by the governor, and then we have to take them to court and sue. But in the meantime, everybody's a felon, and you confiscate our rights and trample upon our, it's tyranny. So the real problem is we should not be passing unconstitutional laws, and these laws that have been pre-filed are blatantly a violation of our constitutional rights. It's not a question of opinion, Barbara. It's a fact. So I'm going to get together with you and encourage you to put something in the legislative package to fix that problem.
Good evening, Mayor Dyer, Vice Mayor Wood. Thank you, Council Members Moss, Abbott, and Wellston for sponsoring this resolution. I am not eloquent, but our forefathers were, and just wanted to give you guys a couple of quotes that to think about. Thomas Jefferson said, "All tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent." So I think that says a lot, considering these laws that were possibly going to get are about as tyrannical as they come. Thomas Paine said, "It is the duty of the patriot to protect its country from its government." That's another one that kind of speaks volumes to me because Samuel Adams said, "It does not require a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen to set brush fires in people's minds." This is a tireless minority. We're not going to stop talking about this. This matters more than a peer. It matters more than how y'all spend our money. This is so basic. We shouldn't even be having this discussion. But we all know that elections have consequences, and so here we are. I'm thankful that you guys at least are having this conversation. I know that this is a super touchy subject, especially after what happened here in May. It hurt everybody in this city, everybody. But nothing about any of these rules protects any of us from that. I am a single mother. I have 3 young daughters. People are being human trafficked, whether you want to hear that or not. It's not tinfoil, it's real. I would like to know that at least I have a chance to protect myself and protect my kids. So, anyway, thank you all.
Yeah.
Talk about the laws that they're trying to impose about assault rifle, quote unquote, and what they're trying to do with those with SB-16. And then the right side saddlebag of that police bike. Go take a look at what's mounted on the back of it. Get that on video.
Yeah, let's go take a peek. I'll take a peek when we head back that way. I don't want to miss any good ones. Yeah.
That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
minorities of their guns to stop them from asserting their civil rights. Guns level the playing field for this military spouses and families left behind, women, domestic violence victims, poor and the minorities. The state says we deserve rights to the ERA, voting, and hand-incarcerated businesses. When we can have abortions, they want us to pay $50 for weed possession so they can't touch us with guns. The San Bernardino attack on a handicap is a mass shooting, killed or wounded more than Sandy Hook and Stoneman Douglas time. With fewer and fewer police translating the longer response times, law-abiding citizens, taxpayers, and voters demand the right to defend ourselves from criminals. Without that protection, the underlying message is we deserve to die rather than defend ourselves. Where's the equality for us? I work full-time, I have college degrees in computers, I'm not ignorant. A mortgage, cars, participate in local city affairs, and I pay full taxes like everyone else. The handicapped can shoot, it just might not be where you want us to shoot. You see, disability does not equal inability. We deserve that. Last thing is I want you to go to the state with my motto in mind. My ammo is going to hit you where the good Lord splits you.
Thank you for holding this special session to allow some of the public to be heard. The resolution the City Council is proposing is a good start, but fails to achieve the protection of the rights of the citizens of Virginia Beach. The resolution does acknowledge that City Council supports the citizens and is committed to continued support of all provisions of the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia, including the right of the people to keep and bear arms. I propose the City Council make the following modifications to the resolution. Amend the title to read, a resolution in support of the Second Amendment rights an existing commitment to preserve and sustain the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution and Article 1, Section 13 of the Virginia Constitution. Amend the now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, section by adding the following two items. That the City Council hereby express its intent to sustain the Second Amendment rights of the citizens of Virginia Beach and its intent that public funds not be used unlawfully to restrict Second Amendment rights or to aid the unnecessary and unconstitutional restriction of the rights underneath the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution and Article 1, Section 13 of the Virginia Beach, the State of Virginia Constitution of the citizens of Virginia Beach to keep and bear arms. And number two, that the City Council hereby declare its intent to oppose unconstitutional restrictions on the right to keep and bear arms through such reasonable means as may be approved by the board thereafter. We are at a time in our lives that most people thought that would never happen. We are on the verge of losing the most important freedom that an American citizen has. Without the right to keep and bear arms, the rest of the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia will be taken from us. The governor of Virginia and his followers have drawn a line in the sand, and it's time for us to pick sides and divide. Will the City Council of Virginia Beach stand with the citizens of Virginia Beach, or will you stand with the tyrants in Richmond? Which of you are willing to stand by the citizens of Virginia Beach, make a motion to amend the current resolution, and then second that motion? If City Council does not amend the opposed resolution to protect the citizens of Virginia Beach and pass the resolution as posed or not pass it at all, you'll be choosing the sides of the tyrants in Richmond and become part of the group that contributes to the destruction of the country. We urge you to stand with the citizens of Virginia Beach. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, council members. My name is Peter Smith. I'm a resident of Virginia Beach and Congo. I'm here tonight to voice my support for this resolution declaring Virginia Beach a constitutional city. I'm certain you've all seen the movement taking place in the Commonwealth over the last several weeks, but I'm not sure how many of you truly understand the gravity of it. I'm disturbed by some of the comments our elected representatives have been making lately. The level of dissonance or contempt required to have made them is frightening. With members of this council who decided to show up tonight, I'm hopeful that you can see the truth within our eyes and hear the passion of our words. Contrary to the opinions of some, Thomas Jefferson wrote, "Right to liberty is unobstructed action. According to our will within the limits drawn around us by equal rights to others, I do not add within the limits of the law, because law is often but the tyrant's will, always stunned. Lawmakers claim these laws will make us safer while they threaten us with lethal force and prison. They've mocked and insulted us, referring to us as children when they don't think we can hear them. They claim we hold contempt for the rule of law while they disregard it with impunity, demanding submission is the basest sentiment of the tyrant. They're claiming this is the will of Virginians, but I don't know a single Virginian who wants to live in a war zone. And lawmakers advocating for military enforcement of state laws makes this a war zone. I'm still waiting for our elected representatives to come out publicly against the views expressed by Congressman McBeachin in that regard, and I hope for their sake and ours that they will never, ever cross that bridge. It's just incredible to me that they're even considering it. I've read the resolution today, and while it represents a small step in the right direction, it doesn't really offer us all of what we're asking of you. It should be well understood by all in attendance here that we hold our lives, our liberties, and that of future generations far above wealth and comfort. Give my life to defend. I feel honored to stand here tonight because in my heart I know I'm standing for them, each and every one of them. I hope this council appreciates the importance of the decisions that lay ahead and realize that all government authority comes from the people themselves. We will not submit to be ruled as lesser subjects, and we will never back down in the face of any threat. The rights we enjoy today were secured by the blood and toil of Virginians living before us, and the Virginians that I know live around us today are no less willing and are arguably more capable than ever of defending their rights. Thank you.
Happy New Year, y'all. Thank you so much for joining the resolution today.
A lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff.
I still want my TTs on my Buell.
Hi, my name's Justin. I was wanting to see if you'd be willing to do a quick interview.
He will.
No? Okay, thank you. How you doing? My name's Justin. I was wondering if you'd be willing to do a quick interview. No? Okay. To answer a couple questions from earlier, there are feeds from inside. I'm not sure where they are, but they are being streamed on YouTube. If you want to get on there and look it up, you might be able to find it. Maybe search Virginia Beach meeting, Second Amendment, something like that, and see if you can pull it up. How you doing? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm one of them. I heard about the Sanctuary City law on Facebook.
Excuse me.
So I looked into it, and then there's a bill. This bill that we're talking about.
Would you guys be willing to? Are you guys with BDCL?
On the third page.
Huh? Are you with BCPL?
I have signed up. I haven't received anything yet, but I have signed up.
Okay. Do you know anybody here who's a representative? Oh, perfect.
I called the landlord as well, so I want to say I called the
Right over there with my team. It's not the mark. Yeah, here. Yeah, come on over.
I'll wait.
You want to chat with me?
Yeah.
I'm one of the executive members.
I'm Justin. Do you mind if I get you on video on there?
You guys are on live stream or something?
Yeah, I'm live streaming. I just didn't want to put you on there if you didn't want to be. Can you tell me a little bit about why you're here today and what you support?
Yeah, so I'm here with Virginia Citizens Defense League. We're here to support gun rights and everybody's rights to own guns. It's simple as that. I don't care what color, creed, background, who you call God, who you sleep with at night. Gun rights are literally everyone's rights. This should be a sanctuary city so we can protect those rights.
Sure. And how do you feel about the 93% of counties that have stood against what the governor is trying to do?
Terrible. I wish it was 100%. No, I am so proud of everyone that's doing this. Everyone out there, if you guys are following this, I'm very happy and proud of you guys. I know you guys are doing a lot of support via the internet. You guys are commenting, helping change some minds, helping to engage that discussion, put those facts out there. So I want to thank everyone behind that lens. I really do appreciate it. And honestly, we're trying to make this 100%. We're going to make Virginia Beach a sanctuary and a constitutional state tonight.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. And here, take my info if you need to spell my name out or anything like that.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Do the job. So all these names over here, I'll be thinking that I have
It's a little chilly out here. All right.
The guy that's trying to, the guy sitting in the corner of the tent. The older black guy with the hat on.
Yeah.
Can't see him right now. Back. We're at Chesapeake. We sat and talked to him. He had no idea about the governor's office threatening Chesapeake to lose all funding for police because access to a sanctuary. He had no idea what was going on that. That was actually he enjoyed it.
Hey guys, just to give you a kind of an update on what's going on around here. So if you don't know, it's been all plastered all over, but if you don't know, Virginia is currently attempting, so we did not have any Republicans run for the House, so it ended up being totally Democratic. The Democrats decided to, the governor decided to enact a bunch of bills that he wants to put into place that would strip our rights. Basically, it would redefine what an assault weapon is to any pistol or long rifle that carries more than, I believe, 10 rounds, or maybe it's 6, I can't remember. So almost all handguns and rifles would be deemed unlawful to have with a, I think it's a Class 6 felony. They are talking about registering firearms for like a grandfather clause. It hasn't been put into any of the bills that I know of, but that is what they're wanting to do. So we're here to fight against that. We are standing against blackface governor. We don't support him. And so that's what everybody's here for. So if you guys have any questions, just pin them up. I'll try to answer them if I can. I'm going to try to get as much of the speakers as I can. I think it's important to make sure we are able to hear what the people say. 91 or 93 currently % of the counties here in Virginia have stood against, publicly made a stance against the governor. So there's only 7% of counties that actually want this bill. And I think that's huge. It speaks volumes. It means that the governor is trying to force citizens who don't want the law, force them into giving up their constitutional rights. But anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get back to it. You guys have any questions for me? Let's see. Gotta love how 1022 is an assault weapon. Yes, so they're considering a 10-round magazine on a 22. They're considering that an assault weapon, which would be banned. Chesapeake did do it. The governor said that if that Chesapeake was going to lose all of their funding if they voted in support of this. They have done that, and I don't know if the governor has pulled any funding or not, but that was said that they would be pulling funding from Chesapeake. All right, guys, I'm going to get back to it. We're going to listen to the next one.
There's a congressman who suggests activating the National Guard is appropriate, confiscating guns that have committed no crimes. The 2A sanctuary movement is a right and morally just thing to do. Our Virginia Constitution is under attack. We are purely a grassroots movement of citizens from this Commonwealth. We will not bend the knee to a governor ready to make us felons for the legally owned, everyday firearms we have. It's just fielded legislation that does nothing to make anyone safer. Our own police chief Severo went on national TV with George Stephanopoulos and said no gun control could have prevented what happened in Building 2 on May 31st. So I ask you, Council, how do more signed gun laws from Richmond politicians make people respect the sanctity of human life? The Supreme Court says police have no duty to protect citizens. Therefore, we are our own first line of defense. I personally made the decision to learn to shoot and protect myself when I became a grandmother. Since that time, this grandma went on to become an NRA physical instructor, range safety officer, distinguished expert in physical marksmanship. After the events of May 31st, I became a co-leader of the Norfolk chapter of the national gun group, the Well-Armed Women. We meet on the range monthly and are focused on equipping and empowering local women to become self-protectors. Gun rights are women's rights. We refuse to be a victim. We need to look no further than Texas church shooting last week to see the Second Amendment at work. 7 members of the congregation rose and drew their pistols upon the people that came to do them harm. Of those 7, one was an elderly woman who dared to do what she needed to do when seconds matter. I'd like to think she had grandkids too. Please vote yes to protecting our 2A rights in Virginia Beach.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I wanted to speak a little bit to represent military spouse tonight and minorities. And the reason that I want to do that is because being a military spouse is sometimes very scary. You move to a new city, you don't have any relatives with you. You don't know your neighbors. And it takes time to get to know your neighbors. While I was a military spouse in the early 1990s, a person who I had no, a complete stranger broke into my house. Only reason I was able to stop him from coming at me was because I said, I'm getting my gun. And I pulled his door, acting like my gun was in the door. It was actually locked away in the back. He took off out the door the other way. I could see him shaking as he was fumbling for the door. That's the only thing that protected me. A gun could be the only thing that protected a minority. So keep military spouses in mind as you address this issue. Another sad thing that happened was while my husband was deployed with Andy Saldusky, he got the news that his wife, Catherine Saldusky, and her young daughter, Ashley, was murdered in Richmond. He lives in the classic section of Virginia Beach. It's supposed to be a secret. We'll never get them back. We won't get Catherine back. But what we can do is make sure that we allow for other military spouses to protect their children and minorities. So please keep that last in your mind as you proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of council. My name is Tim Ferris, been a resident of Virginia Beach for 23 years. I'm here this evening in support of the Second Amendment sanctuary resolution, which urge you all to approve the resolution and send a message to our legislators not to pass laws that will violate our rights and liberties guaranteed to us by the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia. The fact here is not about safety, it's about confiscation and control. Because over and over again, no one is taking the attention of the deputy regime proposed legislation. None of these so-called common sense gun laws being proposed by the legislature will maintain the property or prevent crime. As the criminal elements of the perpetuating incentive against the innocent and vulnerable lives. Instead, these bills not only infringe on our rights to protect ourselves and loved ones, they also serve to invade the illusion of personal property and freedom. Many of the proposed new bills regarding so-called gun control do absolutely nothing except make hundreds of thousands of legal gun owners instant felons and further violate the Second Amendment Constitution and also Article 1, Section 13 of the Virginia Constitution. The very same Constitution is known for protecting the status quo, as many others in the state, including myself. Let's be realistic and truthful here. We know criminals by their very nature do not follow law. The only reason government would have them taking away and controlling unlimited firearms from the law-abiding citizens is to exercise total control over every aspect of the law. We've seen time and time again over the last century that the first step to controlling the citizenry is to first disarm them. We cannot and must not allow this to happen. If only the government and criminals have guns, how do we protect ourselves in second account? And God bless them, police are minutes away, and we have one of the finest police forces in the state. I believe in the right and obligation of law-abiding citizens to protect themselves, their families, and loved ones, including those who cannot, for whatever reason, defend themselves. If you don't want a gun, don't have one. But don't tell me I cannot. I'm against any legislation that would infringe upon these rights, and I urge you to do the same by passing and sending the resolution to the General Assembly, telling them that you will stand with your fellow citizens and that you will not allow them to trample upon our God-given constitutional rights. As I close, I want to leave you with one thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was the amount of time it took for a law-abiding armed citizen to stop a crazed criminal gunman and further preventing loss of countless innocent lives before the police even knew what was happening last week in Church and Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your time and attention, and I urge you to vote in favor of the resolution before you receive it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, and honorable council members, the tallest bladed grass gets cut down first. You don't have to worry about that. We stand on a precipice. In the eyes of many in this country, Virginia has become the proverbial tip of the spear. For years, for decades, government at all levels has sought to incrementally disarm the citizens, the rightful and supreme authority in this country. In act after act of congressional and agential fiat, the parity between military and citizen has been stripped away. Make no mistake, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia is not perfect, but it is so nearly that many of its core tenets were woven directly into the fabric of the United States Constitution prior to its ratification. There was once an understanding in this state and in this country that in order to prevent the kind of tyranny the colonies endured as satellites of the crown, the people should be as well armed as the government. Throughout the years, that idea has been whittled away and compromised in one form or another by sportsmen, by collectors, by enthusiasts. The Constitution doesn't grant anything. It acknowledges. It acknowledges that our rights are natural rights, that they pre-exist any form of government, and that it is the duty and responsibility of this government to protect and defend those rights, not to subvert and undermine them. The Constitution does not serve to limit the people. It enumerates and limits that over which the government has authority. And yet, immediately following the events of May 31, 2019, members of this body proposed a resolution to essentially gut statewide preemption before an investigation had even begun. And then once undertaken, an investigation which was woefully and considerably inconclusive. Do you think that the assembly here present is unaware of tomorrow night's agenda? Do you think we won't pack this building again and again and again and again? That these resolutions carry no weight of law. We are a drill and rule state, are we not? Even the Attorney General has gone on record disparaging our efforts. These resolutions are not intended to defraud or nullify proposed laws to be considered in the Assembly. They are acts of defiance. They are the collective voice of Virginia telling Richmond that we will not be bullied. We will not tolerate one more abusive act of unlawful and arrogant legislation against us. Virginia Beach has the opportunity to add her voice to the chorus. Shall not be infringed. We do not suffer tyrants here. Our flag tells us so. Our history tells us so. My heart tells me so. God save the Commonwealth.
I felt compelled to be here tonight to speak to you, to our fellow citizens, and to our neighbors, on something that I believe to be unfair, unjust, and unconstitutional. Our citizens have the right to feel protected, to know that our children are safe in school. They understandably want politicians working on solutions to reduce gun violence by criminals, ones who shouldn't have access to guns, those with mental health issues, interpersonal violence, illegal black market firearm transfers, gang or drug activity. However, the bills being presented in Richmond are a very far cry from the poll-tested slogan of common sense gun laws that many voters thought they were getting, and that they are not narrowly focused on actually solving a problem. Rather,
Politicians profess to tell us what is suitable to protect ourselves, our family, and our property. The proposed legislation coming out of Richmond is nothing less than a premeditated strike against the Second Amendment, under the ironic guise of protecting citizens. But I'm not here tonight to debate gun control policy. I'm here to ask for your representation, to ask for your voice, to ask for you to speak out for us. According to CBS, the gun ownership rate in Virginia is roughly 30%. At that rate, that puts Virginia Beach's rough gun ownership right around 130,000 or so voting constituents. The vast majority of these citizens, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, sons and daughters, veterans and military members, would become felons overnight if the legislation is passed. And this is not hyperbole or rhetoric, it's reality. It's not fear-mongering, it's what's in the bill. I read the bill, and I've written and passed laws in Virginia and across this country. And now our state, home to the likes of Washington and Jefferson and Monroe and Madison, we now find ourselves once again as a microcosm of the nation. Eyes from across the country are upon us tonight as we lead the struggle of our people fighting for our rights against our own government. I'm not here asking what your gun control position is or isn't. I'm asking you to stand with the over 130,000 folks of yours that are law-abiding, upstanding, and voting constituents in Virginia Beach. So I'm asking you tonight to pass this resolution and send a message for us in Richmond. Thank you for your time, consideration, and God bless you.
Yeah.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. Due to the careful and thoughtful comments I've heard here tonight in support of the Second Amendment and the eloquent and factual presentations delivered by my fellow gun owners, there's really no need for me to repeat much of what has been said. I'll just say that I support the resolution tonight, and that support has never been more steadfast. I wish I had my teeth in it, but I won't. It's surreal to be standing here, because I'm not sure when standing up for my rights became controversial. When did standing up for my inalienable rights make me a right-wing extremist, a hillbilly, a Klansman, anarchist, part of the so-called blood lobby, an insurrectionist, as I was called in the newspaper today, and the list goes on. Yet simply fighting against the laws that violate the Constitution, we hear these lies, an ever-increasingly combative and escalating rhetoric being spread from the media and our elected officials in Richmond about us. So I respectfully take this opportunity to remind Richmond and this council that they and you work for us and not the other way around. Like others have said, I have never attended a city council meeting until December 3rd of last year. I never heard of DCDL and all the other names mentioned this evening. When I learned of these pre-filed bills and their impacts, I was stunned. I'd learned of their confiscatory nature and the scope, and I started to read and educate myself on them. I was stunned to learn that my constitutional right that specifically says shall not be infringed was in fact about to be infringed. I also knew our Constitution said I was not powerless to not stand up to it. This fight, and make no mistake, it is a fight, is not a race issue, a class issue, a gender issue, an education issue, or a party issue. I am an American citizen. This is an American citizen issue. As an American, born and raised native Virginia, a 55-year-old father of three, soon-to-be husband again, and a businessman, I come before you tonight to make my first stand in protecting my right to keep and bear arms. It won't be my last. I will not comply with any unconstitutional laws being passed in Richmond. So I want you to see my face. I want you to hear my voice tonight. As like other people here, I am resolute in this fact. And yet, instead of calming leadership from Richmond, our blackface-wearing governor and those in power continue to pour gasoline on the fire that they themselves started. The consequences of his irresponsible conduct and escalating rhetoric cannot be more dire. When the governor sounds like the leader of China, there's a problem. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes. I'm not alone in that, and I do mean whatever it takes, as I think we all are. The city is watching, the country is watching, and the world is watching. Let this city be an example of how the framers intended the Constitution to work when, by design, they made the first three words, we the people.
16 minutes? For 6 seconds. What did you choose if you were surrounded by gunfire and needed help? 10 minutes is the average time it takes the police to respond to a shooting. 16 minutes was the time between the first shot in the parking lot of the Virginia Beach Municipal Center and the time that the police were able to detain the suspect. 6 seconds. Now we already know that that is the time it took to completely neutralize a shooter and save 240 people in Texas. This is the difference between gun-free zones that where law-abiding citizens are forced into unarmed helplessness and zones that allow law-abiding citizens to carry guns. The issue is really that gun violence and mass shootings like Las Vegas and Virginia Beach that are splashed all over the media, they break our hearts. We are angry and heartbroken, but the problem is that people want to control guns if they can. And the problem is we sadly cannot control mental illness, we can't control violence, and we can't control murder. No matter how many guns you take away from law-abiding citizens, you can get murdered as I'm walking down the street and I'm attacked by a person, a criminal, with a gun. Believe me, that criminal, he's not going to register his gun, and he's not going to turn it over when the government asks him to. The crazy need for sweeping gun control is born on by emotional fear and ignorance of taking guns away. The Second Amendment is about freedom and the pursuit of unrestricted government. As Thomas Jefferson stated, it is the aim that every man bear a gun. Why? Because bearing a gun allows us to protect our American dream, to keep our families safe and secure in our homes, but not only the American dream as it relates to each individual, but the American dream as it relates to us as a country, to protect all its citizens from tyranny and overreach of the government. Just look at what has recently happened in Venezuela. I am closely connected with a number of people
Is that
in the
any better,
opposition
guys?
party of Venezuela. And it breaks my heart to tell you that if they had guns, they would fight back. They would fight back against the armed gangs that had taken over their streets, against their government that has destroyed their country and caused the starvation of their people. But they cannot because they are unarmed and helpless. Armed citizens are a deterrent to tyrannical government, and unarmed citizens encourage.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Linda Craddock, Mark Loring, and Meryl Rutledge.
Welcome.
It might be hard for it to be picked up on the speakers that they're doing it from. I'm not sure.
A country itself born on the promise of freedom. Joiners escaping tyrannical governments and controlling dictators. Here they form a government of limited power.
Okay, I'm going to try to fix it, guys.
Preamble that begins with "We the people of the United States." The Constitution never contained the clause when the framers hadn't promised to add the Bill of Rights to give citizens confidence. More violent and strengthened criminal element who simply isn't concerned with the laws we pass. You, as our elected representatives, are first in our chain of command. You represent us and only us, the citizens and voters of this city. We are here asking you to join the majority of municipalities in our state and declare Virginia Beach's Second Amendment sanctuary. We ask that you stand with us and, yes, defy our governor and the Democrat majority who wish to destroy the Bill of Rights. We hope you understand that you are not only the first in our chain of command, but you are also our last line of defense. For every movement begins and ends with the people and those who represent them. Let's not forget the words of Abraham Lincoln. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we we falter and lose our freedom, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Normal city council sessions, we all speak such good religion. Not today though, and I wonder why. I would like to take out of the Pledge of Allegiance the two words out, and that is Republic, God, individual, liberty, and justice. We live in a republic, not in a democracy. Under God and not under government. Individual and the government and his party of progressive, they divide this country in an unprecedented way. It's more than a threat to our liberty, it changes the way we are governed. Justice, if these bills go through, will only be granted to those governing elite, not to us. Basically, what the progressive Democrats want to create is a socialist Virginia. They want to raise the gas taxes by 25%. They want to insist on law-abiding citizens. They want to murder babies. I don't want to live in this society. And I believe you don't want it either. Thank you.
Merrill Rutledge, Lexi Hickman, and
Welcome.
My name is Merle Rutledge. I'm with the Arts City, Genesee, Virginia. This is actually my first time ever being in front of you guys. The first time I ever heard from you guys was from the email, which was from the infringe on my free speech right. And obviously, the city attorney obviously got my message very clear. We don't infringe on our rights. I never thought it would be the case that we give our right flag of surrender to domestic terror and foreign terror. We have a right to defend ourselves and our families. But now we are seeing a fight and war against ourselves, who we are as Virginians, who we are as a people, and everything we stand for. Today marks a real good day in Virginia Beach to change up what our perception is about the right to defend ourselves. We should be here talking about strengthening gun rights, not weakening. But today now we are faced with that. I'm asking everybody here in the city of Virginia Beach to recognize we have a right to be Virginia citizens, we have a right to our history and our tradition, and we will protect our guns. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Kingsar and members of the Virginia Beach City Council. My name is Lexi Hickman, and I have called two cities home that have been affected by gun violence. My hometown is San Bernardino, California, and the place I choose to call my home, Virginia Beach. Our Second Amendment, like the rest of the Constitution, is something that I hold dearly. I support gun ownership, and I don't believe that any governing body should remove that right. However, today I am standing here as a voice for responsible gun owners, supporters, and the lives of the voices of the families of the 15,666 lives lost to gun violence in 2019. A well-regulated militia is what is protected by our Second Amendment. The law at the time even required states and colonies to swear loyalty to the emergent government as well as keep track of privately owned weapons. And it's no surprise that this right was not extended to everyone. Certainly not to women, and certainly not to other races, such as Black people or Native Americans. Beyond the love of our Constitution, this is where myself and other Second Amendment supporters diverge. Many who have voiced their support for this resolution have threatened eventual literal and perceived violence against those who oppose the resolution and any law law enforcement bodies whose duty it is to enforce the laws of the court that the court deems as constitutional. These bullies include the advocacy group whose draft of this resolution was made as the foundation for this verbiage, were aware of this meeting 5 days prior to the general public, and had asked multiple people to come and strike fear and intimidation in those who oppose it. Many supporters of this insist this resolution is merely an affirmation of city council upholding their constitutional rights.
California!
My question to the council is this: if you need to use taxpayer money to draft, plan, and hold special meetings and vote on maintaining the status quo of your constitutional oath of office, does that mean that you are not upholding your constitutional duty and oath of office already? I implore this council to stand against these bullies who use fear and intimidation to get their demands met. Tell them to take this issue to the General Assembly and the courts who have the sole power to determine whether a law is constitutional or not, because city councils do not hold that check of power against the courts. I respectfully request that the council continue their established daily oaths and vote no on this waste of taxpayer resources and time. And if you still disappoint discussion, then work with multiple advocacy groups on a compromise resolution, not just the VCDL, and not just one side of the discussion. Thank you.
My name is Ben Loyola, and I am running for Congress because this battle, this challenge is not impeded in Virginia, in Virginia Beach. It's happening in Washington, D.C. as well. I'm here to share my humble beginnings where, because I was born in Havana, Cuba, I was exposed to what happens when government disarms its people and takes over a country. Fidel Castro came out of the mountains promising prosperity to everybody. The first thing he did when people believed it was he told people, "Pan para armas" is the call. Give me your guns, I'll give you bread. He took those guns away, and he imprisoned thousands, and he killed tens of thousands in shooting squads. Thanks to sacrifices my parents made, kidding to me. Our liberties, our rights. I wanted to do that. I enlisted in the Navy, and I took my oath of office. I served 30 years as a Navy captain. I fought around the world about Thailand and Libya that disarmed its people as well. It's the greatest country in the world. I cannot believe we are here to defend our God-given rights, self-defense, protect against tyranny. We all took oath of office. I took it multiple times in my 30-year career. I retired as a Navy captain to support and defend the Constitution. The Virginia Constitution predates the American Constitution. It's all the same. They acknowledge our right to self-defense, to protect against tyranny. Not just individual tyranny, against the government's tyranny. In my lifetime, I lived it. Please don't erode our natural God-given rights to protect yourself. What's happening here in Virginia is happening in Washington, D.C. Our congresswoman supports the bill to take away gun rights. And they've already sponsored money to set around for a Biden program if you want it or not. That's not America. That's not the shining city on the hill. That's not freedom. You just want to live our life, protect our children, grow your love, run our businesses, work our land, and you can work together. So we must have the ability to protect us. And get all of these foreign blessings. God bless you. God bless America. God bless you.
Welcome. That's the stuff on the ball. According to the Virginia and the U.S. Constitution, the General Assembly has not been delegated the authority to which it is attempting to legislate and need at least hundreds of thousands of law-abiding, tax-paying, productive gun owners in our state and to sell them for merely possessing semi-automatic firearms to certain
very peaceful. The city of Virginia Beach has every right to nullify this legislative illegal. In the actions against the Alien and Sedition Act, the Virginia and Kentucky Resolution of 1798 specifically call out nullification as a rightful remedy. And I quote, "Therefore this Commonwealth is determined, as it doubts not its per se power, to submit to undelegated and consequently unlimited powers in no man or body of men on earth, that in cases of abuse of the delegated power, the members of the general government being chosen by the people, a change by the people would be the constitutional remedy. But where powers are assumed, which have not been delegated, a nullification of the act is the rightful remedy." While the Second Amendment is being specifically addressed by this council in this resolution, Article 1 of Virginia's Constitution also talks about the limits on the state of Virginia. These proposed laws are in violation of Section 9, ex post facto prohibition, Section 11, taking prohibition, and Section 13, which states, quote, "that a well-regulated militia composed of the body of the people, trained to arms, is the proper, natural, and safe defense of a free state. Therefore, the right of the people shall not be infringed." To ban firearms because criminals use them is to tell the innocent and law-abiding that their rights depend not on their own conduct, but on the conduct of the guilty and the lawless. Our Commonwealth is one of the safest states in the nation. Our firearm mortality rate is below the national average. We have the fourth lowest violent crime rate in the country. This is according to our own Virginia State Police. So the proposed $7.5 million of taxpayer money to enforce these unconstitutional laws we flush down the toilet in order to ruin the lives of innocent, law-abiding people instead of addressing the real issues surrounding criminal activity. I urge you to vote in favor of this resolution to send a message to the General Assembly to oppose unlawful and undelegated overreach. Thank you. Thank you.
And Hahn, Robert Brown, and Aaron Hahn.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and members of the City Council. Thank you very much for your patience here. It's going to take a while.
And my Virginia.
Where are you from? Australia? Well, man, I think I'm gonna head out of here. I gotta get home, help Sarah with the babies.
Yeah, we're gonna leave here in about half an hour because I didn't sleep last night. It kept me awake.
Yeah.
So I gotta be at work by 5:30 in the morning. Worst day of the Wednesday.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, but like I said, go talk about SB16 and go look at the back side of that pipe right there.
Yeah.
See a nice little piece of black equipment there that's known as an SBR that, hey, we can't have it in big hands because, they're supposed to
touch and tell me about the thing.
Yeah, they were just saying 10 minutes, 15 minutes is average time.
Yeah,
Texas, it was 6 seconds.
Or when we go through them shooting a week ago where, oh yeah, her truck tire took a bullet with 2 kids in the back of her, a motorcycle right in front of her, and guess what? Got down about 3.5, 4 blocks, didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
Started pulling out, looking around like, and that's all I told him, and then he's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna put the lights and I'm gonna go. Like, no shit.
All right, man. Take care. You too. Yeah. I don't know why it's so fuzzy. Maybe it'll focus in. Oh, I don't know, guys. It's just real fuzzy right now. If you guys want to continue watching it, they've got the inside stream. Just search Virginia Beach Town Hall, something like that. You'll probably find it. Hold on, wait a second. We got some loud planes flying over. A lot harder to keep the camera from getting fuzzy at night. Sorry about that too. Alright, y'all, so I'm heading out. If you guys have any questions about what they're trying to do here, comment down below and I'll send you links and things like that so you can get some information. What they're doing here is just a blatant step on the Constitution. They expect everybody to follow through, and just to recap, the governor has put into place a few bills. One that would make it illegal to train with hand-to-hand combat firearms, explosives, bow and arrow, just any kind of weapon whatsoever. It'd be unlawful and a 6 felony to train and knowingly or have reasonable suspicion to know that somebody's going to use it in a civil unrest or whatever. Basically, if you're protesting, if you're forming a militia to potentially fight, things like that, any of those things are going to be considered under those. So if you go to a protest and you're carrying, they can charge you with a Class 6 felony. They're also wanting to change the definition of assault weapon to any firearm for just for pistols. I can't remember what it's shotgun, but for pistols and long arms, they're wanting to change it where if it carries more than 6 or 10, I can't remember which, rounds, it's considered an assault weapon. That includes many pistols. Any double-stacked pistol is going to carry more. So those will be banned, and you can be charged with a Class 6 felony for owning one. Let's see, there's a lot of other stuff. They're banning militias. You're not allowed to form a militia. It'll also be a Class 6 felony to be involved with a militia. So we're standing up against all those things. The people have deemed them unconstitutional. We're waiting on Congress to rule on it, of course. You know, that's what makes it unlawful, but we shouldn't even be to that point. I think it's pretty cut and dry. When the Constitution says shall not be infringed, it means shall not be infringed. So we're out here in support of Second Amendment sanctuaries in Virginia Beach. In Virginia, the House is overrun by Democrats, so their laws are most likely going to get passed. And the counties are majority Republican. We've got 93% of the cities and counties here that have deemed themselves Second Amendment sanctuary and protest to what the governor's trying to do. Well, they're still going to do it anyway. They're going to try, and I think it could potentially end in some kind of violent conflict. I think the people will eventually stand up and fight for our rights, and we'll use whatever force is necessary to do that. That's what our forefathers did, and that's what we'll do too. I hope it never gets there. Pray to God it never gets there, but it can. All right, y'all, I'm gonna sign off. Like I said, if you have any questions about what's going on here in Virginia, you want to know, this doesn't just affect us, it affects everyone in the United States, because once Virginia is able to once the 7% in Virginia are able to dictate the 93% in the rest of the state, once they can enact laws just based on the small minority of the state and control the rest of the state, the rest of the states will follow, and then eventually it'll become federal. The federal government will follow too, and we can't allow that. That is our job as a citizen to hold them accountable. So let's get out there, let's do it. If you guys have questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll answer whatever I can. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.